Hello guys, what is up? My name is Fighter and welcome to World Sportster, and it is time for another quite depressing post-match reaction. Today is Friday the 28th of April, and we have just thrown away another 2-0 lead at Tottenham. We're going to be talking about three main topics in this, really. We're going to split this up into three sections, as we did in our first ever post-match reaction, because there are 3 points I think I can hone in on and talk about. Firstly, we're going to talk about substitutions and Erik ten Hag substitutions. Secondly, we're going to talk about the second goal from Spurs. And then finally, we're going to talk about a mentality issue with Manchester United. So, we're going to go straight into the substitutions. I think Erik ten Hag got 3 of 4 substitutions spot on. I don't get this people blaming his substitutions. It makes no sense. Firstly, with the Fred substitution, yeah, we were getting a bit overrun. He wanted to try shore up the midfield. You take one of Christian Eriksen or Bruno off, and Bruno was having the better game, so you take Eriksen off and put Fred next to Casemiro to shore things up. People are saying Fred's too erratic to bring on as a sub. That's just a load of utter horse. Yeah, he's come on as a sub and done brilliantly in games all season, and he wanted him to have that same effect. It's not Erik ten Hag's fault that Fred came on and thought we were playing in the away kit, because he was passing stray balls left, right and centre. We could not maintain possession because every time Fred got on that ball, he was misplacing passes left, right and centre. I feel unfortunate for Fred because he's been a bit of an unsung hero this season, but that game was atrocious from him. The sub was correct. The performance from the sub was not. Sorry, the performance from the sub was not. And you can't blame a manager for subbing on a player that just didn't play well. It's not his fault. You could say in hindsight he could have brought on Sabitzer, but Sabitzer's still more of an attacking player to me than Fred is. I know Fred's been doing well getting into the box late, but he's also still got good defensive qualities. And I think he's slightly better on the defence than Sabitzer. Plus, Sabitzer's coming back from a bit of an injury as well. In terms of taking Aaron Wan-Bissaka off, again, for me, the correct call. Aaron Wan-Bissaka was on a yellow card, and Spurs were pumping balls into the box. High balls, low balls. And anyone who knows football knows that Aaron Wan-Bissaka cannot defend a high ball. He can't head it. You saw with the Bruno Fernandes chance where he hits the bar and Aaron Wan-Bissaka for some reason tries to diving header it. We'll just quickly stop and talk about that chance. For me, Bruno Fernandes overhits it. You can't blame him for him. He tries to chip the keeper. It's unlucky. But for me, you should pick a side and go either side. But why Aaron Wan-Bissaka has headed that ball? He misheads that so much because he diving heads it, yeah, and the ball was too low when he heads it. He had more than enough time to side foot that in the air, side foot volley, or just smash it head over volley. Yeah, all he had to do was readjust his feet position. He was static in that box and then tried to dive and header it. Don't know why. Completely confused me. But going back to the substitutes, Aaron Wan-Bissaka taking off was an easy choice for me. Yeah, Malaysia's fresh. We wanted another fresh defender on the pitch because we're quite frankly getting attacked and we're getting battered by crosses and high balls, low balls, balls in behind. And for me, Dalot at the right back is better at defending the high balls than Aaron Wan-Bissaka. Yeah, and plus Aaron Wan-Bissaka was getting absolutely mullered by Perisic. Yeah. And Dalot wasn't on a yellow card. I don't remember. I don't think he was. So, he always had that ability to, if Son's running away from him, just whip, take his legs, foul early, and get away with it because he's not on a yellow card. The next substitute, Sancho, Sancho for Martial. This, again, was the right substitute. We needed a striker on the pitch who could hold up the ball, moving Rashford to that left and putting a focal point because we were eventually going on the counter. So you want to have a player up front that can hold that ball up and just take a bit of pressure off you, control it, take it down, pass it around a bit. around the halfway line and get pressure to allow the defence to come up. Marcus Rashford is not the man to win a header and to take the ball on his chest and hold it up very frequently. We'll talk about that again when we talk about Spurs' second goal. But I felt like taking Sancho off, putting Rashford on the left, keeping Anthony on the right, and then putting one of Weghorst or Martial up front was the right call. Now, the last substitution really did confuse me. I understand putting Bruno on the right to offer defensive support to Dalot and take Anthony off, because Anthony just, it was a nothing game for Anthony. He didn't really get involved at all much, and it was a nothing performance from him, to be honest, and it's understood why he was taken off. But I just don't think Weghorst in the midfield worked. It looked so unbalanced. It was at that point, if you're going to put Bruno on the right and take Anthony off, I'd put Sabitzer on instead of one of the two strikers, instead of bringing one of them on, obviously. But you can understand why he tried it, because he was like, get a bit of height in the team because they're putting in crosses, and also you want more attackers on the pitch to try get the winner. It's understandable, but for me, that last substitution was the only one I think he got wrong on paper. As I've mentioned, I think the other three were really good. Now, in terms of the second goal, I just want to quickly preference this by saying I think Marcus Rashford was our man of the match. I think he was the man of the match of the game. He got a goal and an assist, and I think he had an all-round game. But in my opinion, it's two errors in that goal. But the first error leads to the second error. David De Gea kicks that ball long, accurately to Marcus Rashford. Yeah? Malacia and Dalot both press high. Marcus Rashford, shits out that header. He does. He half jumps. Yeah? The Tottenham defender just wanted it more. He did. He didn't even get a touch on it. The Tottenham defender technically has an uncontested header, and heads it straight down the line to Harry Kane. Yeah, that's when Malacia is slow to turn, react, and go back to Harry Kane. And same with Dalot on the other side, slow to react, to turn round and come back to Son. Yeah, but what I would say is they're expecting Marcus Rashford to at least contest that header. If Marcus Rashford gets some kind of flick on that header, there's no way that header goes from the halfway line to almost near the edge of our box, to Harry Kane free. Yeah, if Marcus Rashford gets some kind of touch on that header, it could spew out for a throw-in, spew into the centre, spew forward and to the right, or spew forward to the left. But not if he got a touch on that header, there is no way it would go as far as it did. Yeah, and it all came from the Tottenham player just wanting it more and Marcus Rashford shitting out of heading a ball. I've just got to be honest. It's what I see when watching that. Yeah, but Marcus Rashford was our man of the match, so you can't put too much blame on him. But you also have to call out the errors, because that was the error that led to that goal. Yeah, we complain about De Gea not being able to pass it out. De Gea kicks it long, accurately, to his winger, who is 6 foot something. Yeah, and he backs out of a header against the defender, and the ball gets pumped back the other way. That's what I mentioned before about having a striker that's able to hold up the ball, which Martial and Weghorst can do better from Rashford. That is why Rashford's not a number 9. It's as simple as that. Yeah, and I'm not trying to dog Rashford, but it just was very, very, very poor. And it goes back to what I was mentioning the other weeks, players backing out of challenges because they don't want to get hurt. Sancho did it a few times, so did Martial in that game again. Yeah, just not enough fight for me, personally. I know, it's harsh, but it is what it is. It's just how I see it. And lastly, it's more of a question than a statement. Do Manchester United have a mentality issue? After last season, you could easily say yes. After some parts of this season, you could easily say yes. The falling apart Anfield, the mentality at the start of the year. But this is my opinion on it. Manchester United, when they are winning and winning comfortably, get way too cocky and complacent. They did it against Seville. Yeah, they went 2-0 up in the first, 20 minutes? Yeah, and then just ambled around for the rest of the game till Sevilla hit him with 2 counter punches. Yeah. Well, it was 2 own goals. Unfortunate, but still, United just messed around, didn't put away chances, weren't fast enough to compete for things and such. And the same happened in this game. We went 2-0 up. Yeah, and we came out in the second half like, oh, we've won this game. Spurs aren't going to do anything. We'll just slow, methodical, not really fight for anything. It was almost as if they came out in the second half thinking, oh, we're the best team in the world here. We've already won this game. No chance Spurs laying a glove on us. And then they did. And then they just didn't respond. Yeah. And it's the same after the cup final. I feel like after the cup final, after they won a trophy, they were like, oh, we've won a trophy this season. We're amazing. Yay. And then just fell off. That's just my honest opinion. It seems to be, if we're winning early in games, yeah, we think we're the best team in the world, and we just go to bed. Yeah. And we made a joke that United are crap in the first half, and then Ten Hag bollocks them, and they're amazing. But if it's the other way around, we're amazing in the first half, we're crap in the second half. It's an issue that needs to be looked at and sorted out and talked about more, in my opinion, because it is a glaring issue. Yeah, we're never going to win a title. We're never going to win big competitions, European competitions, by being so complacent when winning. And is it to do with the players that are still left over that are not Erik Ten Hag players? Possibly. I don't have the answer for why it is what it is. But for me, it is an issue that needs to be rooted out and sorted very quickly and very fast, because it's already cost us 2 times this season in recent memory. And I can't remember off the top of my head, but it's definitely cost us in other games earlier on in the season. I can't remember exactly which ones because I don't have a good memory. But yeah, unfortunately, that is where I am going to leave it today. I feel like, although it was a draw and a point, and we didn't lose any ground to Spurs, did kind of lose ground to Newcastle, and it does feel like a loss to me. I think that's just how I see it at the moment. I think any points dropped in the league until the end of the season is a loss to me, really, to be honest, before playing them. I feel like we should win every game before the end of the season. It's just how this team's playing. And then the FA Cup final is a whole different matter, but especially how we played in the first half, losing 2 points and letting Spurs gain a point in that game it feels like a loss. It just does. Unfortunately, that is it for me today. I appreciate you all coming and tuning in and watching my opinions. Leave your opinions down below, and hopefully I'll see you again soon. Thank you for watching, and peace.
What is Sweezy? Bomb dance.